Did you know that most of the myths we believe about cats come from centuries-old stories that were never true? Tonight, we gently uncover the real science behind the mysterious creatures sleeping at the edge of your bed. Welcome to Sleepy Science Nights, where gentle stories and calm explanations help your mind drift into a quieter space. Tonight, we explore 100 myths about cats, told in a soft encyclopedia voice designed to soothe your thoughts while offering peaceful scientific clarity. For thousands of years, humans have lived beside cats, watching their glowing eyes, their silent footsteps, and their mysterious habits. Whenever people did not understand something about these quiet animals, they created stories to explain the unknown. Some of those stories were charming, some were strange, and some grew into complicated myths that followed cats across continents and centuries. In ancient times, a moving shadow in a candle-lit room could feel magical, and the soft sound of a cat purring near a sleeping person seemed almost supernatural. Because cats were active at night and moved in graceful ways, people connected them to moonlight, secrets, and hidden powers. These old ideas traveled from one culture to another until they became everyday beliefs. You may even know people today who repeat the same myths without thinking about where they came from. In this calm bedtime journey, we gently examine each of these beliefs and look at the steady science beneath them. There is no need to stay fully alert or focus too hard. Simply listen as each myth becomes a soft story and each explanation becomes a slow, pleasant fact that settles like warm sand in your thoughts. Cats are not supernatural beings, yet their biology and behavior are often more interesting than the myths that surround them. The sound of purring has measurable frequencies. Their glowing night eyes have a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum. Their flexible spines follow simple mechanical principles. Even their quiet affection has a scientific explanation through scent exchange, memory, and emotional bonding. As we move through all 100 myths, we will pause gently on history, nature, senses, behavior, and the long shared relationship between humans and cats. This program is designed to be slow, steady, and easy to drift with. If your eyes begin to feel heavy, let them close. If your breathing slows, let it stay slow. Each segment is complete on its own, so you can fall asleep at any moment without losing anything important. Now we will begin our first chapter, where ancient stories shaped the earliest cat myths and created ideas that lasted far longer than the cultures that invented them. Our first chapter drifts back through time into the quiet world of ancient beliefs, where the earliest myths about cats were born. People long ago watched cats move through dim rooms with silent steps and glowing eyes, and they felt something mysterious and powerful in that gentle presence. The first myth we explore is the idea that cats were worshipped as gods, a belief that still appears in modern stories about ancient Egypt. In truth, cats were never viewed as gods themselves, but they were seen as important companions to divine beings, especially the protective goddess Bastet. People admired the calm strength of cats and valued their ability to protect grain from rodents, so respect naturally grew into ritual and symbolism. The second myth says cats bring good or bad luck depending on their color. This idea started in places where people tried to explain chance events by linking them to animals around them. Black cats were sometimes feared because their dark coats blended with the night, while light-colored cats were seen as gentle omens. Modern science shows that a cat's color is only a matter of genetics and has no connection to luck or fate. The third myth claims that cats can steal a person's soul while they sleep. This story came from old traditions where breath was thought to hold the essence of life. Because cats often curl near a warm, sleeping face, people imagined they were trying to take something sacred. What actually draws a cat is warmth, softness, and comfort, not any spiritual force. The next myth tells us that cats see ghosts or invisible spirits. The truth is simpler and more scientific. Cats have extremely sharp hearing and can detect tiny movements, such as insects or soft settling noises inside a house. When a cat stares into an empty corner, it is usually listening to something too faint for human ears, not watching a ghostly figure. The fifth myth from ancient times suggests that cats guard the gates of the afterlife. This came from stories where animals acted as protectors on spiritual journeys. The calm, watchful nature of cats made them a natural symbol for guidance and safety, even though the belief has no biological or historical foundation. In these early stories, we see how myth and misunderstanding mixed with admiration for a graceful, useful companion. People created explanations based on fear, mystery, and limited science. Yet each myth reveals how closely humans watched and wondered about their quiet, feline friends. As ancient stories spread from village to village, new myths formed around the idea that cats were connected to magic or mysterious forces. One of the most persistent myths is that black cats served as witches' familiars, acting as magical assistants in the night. This belief
grew during times when people feared the unknown and blamed misfortune on invisible powers. Because black cats were harder to see in dark places, their sudden appearance or quiet movement felt uncanny to those without understanding of natural behavior. In reality, a cat's color has nothing to do with supernatural ability, and domestic cats lived ordinary lives regardless of old legends. Another myth suggests that cats can predict a person's death. This idea likely came from the way cats behave around illness. A cat may sleep near someone who is weak or feverish simply because the person is still and warm. To early observers, it looked as if the cat sensed something beyond human awareness, and a superstition was born. Modern science shows no evidence that cats foresee death, though they may respond to changes in scent and routine. The next myth tells us that cats have always been domesticated, but the truth is far more gradual and gentle. Cats were never fully tamed by force. Instead, they formed a slow partnership with humans because human settlements attracted rodents. Cats that tolerated people gained easier access to food, and people who welcomed cats enjoyed better protection of their stored grain. This quiet mutual benefit shaped the early bond that later cultures misinterpreted as magical or divine. Another ancient belief claimed that cats could not survive without humans. In truth, cats are natural hunters with strong instincts developed over thousands of years. Even domestic breeds retain many of the skills found in wild ancestors. The myth grew from eras when people saw cats mostly in busy households and assumed their survival depended on human presence. The final myth in this early group suggests that cats understand magical spells. This story was inspired by their calm stares and the way they seem to focus intently on small movements. What looks like deep mystical concentration is simply a refined hunting instinct. Cats watch the world carefully, filtering tiny motions that humans overlook. As we move forward, each myth becomes a soft reminder of how people once tried to explain complicated behaviors with simple, imaginative stories. As we close this first chapter, we glide a little deeper into the myths that shaped early human understanding of cats. Many ancient cultures believed that cats could walk between worlds, moving from the realm of the living into hidden places that humans could not see. This myth came from the way cats appear and disappear with such quiet ease. A cat slipping behind a basket or gliding through tall grass seemed to vanish, only to reappear moments later in a different spot. The explanation is simple. Cats use deliberate, controlled steps and flexible bodies that let them fit through small spaces. But early observers saw something almost supernatural in this graceful skill. Another myth claimed that cats carried sacred knowledge. The belief grew because cats sat still for long periods, watching the world with slow blinks and steady eyes. People imagined that such calm patience meant the cat understood hidden truths. In reality, this behavior helps cats conserve energy and observe their surroundings for signs of safety or prey. Their calm gaze reflects instinct, not ancient wisdom passed down from spirits. Some communities believed cats protected homes from curse or harm. The myth formed because households with cats often had fewer diseases linked to rodents. People noticed the difference but did not know about bacteria, fleas, or contamination. They felt as if the cat itself held a silent protective power. Modern science shows the real reason is practical. Cats reduce rodent populations, which reduces risks. But the effect is biological rather than magical. Another myth described cats as guides to the moon or night sky. Their nocturnal nature made them symbols of darkness, quiet movement, and nighttime safety. Some believed cats carried moonlight in their eyes. This idea came from the reflective layer in the retina, which catches even faint light and makes their eyes shine. The shimmer is a natural adaptation for hunting in low light, not evidence of celestial power. The last myth of this chapter tells us that cats were messengers between humans and the unseen world. This belief likely came from their sensitive reactions to sound. A cat might suddenly turn its head toward a distant rustle or lift its ears to a faint vibration. To people without knowledge of acoustics, the behavior hinted at communication with hidden forces. In truth, the cat is simply listening. Their hearing range reaches far above human limits, letting them detect tiny motions that remain silent to us. These stories remind us how ancient myths were shaped by fear, admiration, curiosity, and the mystery of quiet feline behavior. As we move into the next chapter, we gently shift from old legends to the myths surrounding a cat's body and the remarkable abilities hidden within anatomy and physics. Now we drift into a chapter shaped by wonder, where myths about a cat's body grew from admiration for their graceful movements and mysterious abilities. The first myth in this group is the familiar idea that cats always land on their feet. This belief is so common that it feels almost factual, yet the truth is more precise and gentler. Cats have a righting reflex, a remarkable instinct that allows them to twist their spine in midair to reorient themselves. But this reflex is not magical, and it only works within certain heights and conditions. When a fall is too short or too long, the body cannot rotate or brace in time, and injuries can occur. This understanding reminds us that graceful movement is a result of physics, not superstition. The next myth tells us that cats have 9 lives. This comforting phrase likely grew from their resilience and their ability to survive small falls, sudden leaps, and narrow escapes. In ancient stories, the number 9 often symbolized completeness, so the idea gently attached itself to the cat's flexible nature. Yet science shows that a cat has one life, fragile and precious, and their survival depends on instinct, anatomy, and luck. Another myth claims that cats are invincible when falling from great heights. People once believed this because some cats survived dramatic accidents, especially in cities with tall buildings. The truth is that cats reach a terminal velocity lower than many animals due to their lightweight bodies and spread limbs, which act like parachutes. This can sometimes reduce injury, but it is never a guarantee of safety. The fourth myth says that a cat's whiskers are magical sensors. While not magical, whiskers are extraordinary natural tools. They can detect air currents, vibration patterns, and spatial changes. They help a cat judge the width of an opening and sense movement around them. The ability may feel mystical, yet it is grounded entirely in biology and touch receptors. The next myth describes cats as animals that glow naturally in the dark. People once believed this because of the way a cat's eyes reflect faint light, creating a quiet shimmer. The glow is not internal. It comes from the tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer that helps them see well in low light. This reflection appears bright and strange to early observers who imagined an inner luminous power. In truth, it is simply an elegant adaptation shaped by evolution. We continue gently through the myths shaped by wonder, where a cat's abilities seemed so unusual that people once searched for magical explanations. The next myth claims that cats cannot feel pain. This idea came from the way cats hide discomfort, remaining still or quiet even when something hurts. In nature, showing weakness can attract danger. So cats evolved to mask pain as a survival strategy. Modern science shows that cats feel pain clearly and deeply, just as other mammals do. They simply express it in subtle ways that humans often miss. Another old belief says that the sound of a cat's purr is mystical energy with supernatural origin. The truth is calm and scientific. Purring comes from rhythmic contractions in the muscles of the larynx, creating vibrations that pass through the body. The frequency is low and soothing, and some studies suggest it can support healing of bones and tissues. This natural vibration once felt magical because people had no way to measure or understand it. The next myth tells us that cats see perfectly in complete darkness. This belief arose from their comfort during nighttime and their ability to navigate in very low light. While cats have excellent night vision, they cannot see in total darkness. They require at least a small amount of light to form images. Their large pupils, reflective eyes, and sensitive rods help them see far better than humans in dim spaces, but not in absolute blackness. Another myth claims that cats are boneless because their bodies move with such fluid ease. In truth, cats have more than 200 bones, including an incredibly flexible spine with many vertebrae and elastic cushioning. This structure allows twisting, stretching, curling, and slipping through narrow spaces. The flexibility feels magical when seen in quiet moments, but it is entirely anatomical. The final myth in this group tells us that cats can teleport. This playful idea likely began because cats often appear in new locations without being noticed. A cat may slip behind furniture, climb to a higher shelf, or move silently from room to room. Their padded paws and careful steps make almost no sound. As a result, a person may look away for a moment and look back to find the cat somewhere else entirely. No teleportation is needed, only grace, silence, and a natural ability to move without drawing attention. These gentle myths highlight how extraordinary feline abilities can feel to the human eye, especially in quiet night hours when imagination is strong.
As we complete this chapter, we drift further into the gentle space where myths grew from watching cats move with quiet confidence and surprising skill. One myth that spread widely suggests that cats never get tired, as if their bodies contain endless hidden energy. This belief formed because cats often save their strength during the day. They rest, doze, and conserve power so they can burst into activity when something interesting happens. In truth, a cat's energy rises and falls in natural rhythms, guided by instinct rather than magic. Another myth imagines that cats can jump impossible distances through mysterious strength. Their leaps can seem extraordinary, especially when they land lightly on narrow surfaces. Scientifically, this comes from powerful hind leg muscles and a flexible spine that allows strong extension. Their balance and precision remove the appearance of effort, giving the impression of supernatural agility. The next myth says cats have super hearing that borders on magical awareness. People once believed that cats could hear messages from distant worlds or invisible spirits. The truth is grounded in biology. Cats detect higher frequencies than humans and can rotate their ears more than 100 degrees to locate a sound. This impressive range once seemed like a sign of mystical communication, but now it is nature's way of helping cats. Another myth claims that a cat's balance comes from a spiritual force guiding their movements. This idea began in early cultures that admired the cat's ability to walk on thin surfaces or slip along narrow edges. Modern science explains that cats use their tail, inner ear, and sensitive paws to keep steady. The skill is physical, not supernatural, yet still beautiful to watch. One gentle myth suggests that cats absorb negative energy from their surroundings. People believed this because cats often rest near stressed or sad humans. Their calm presence feels comforting, and over time, the idea grew that cats pull away negativity. Scientifically, cats seek warmth, steady breathing, and familiar scents. The comfort they give is emotional, not mystical.
yet it feels just as soothing. The final myth in this chapter says that cats can sense danger through secret forces. Before weather science existed, a cat hiding before a storm seemed like a warning from another realm. We now know that cats react to air pressure changes, vibrations, and scent shifts far earlier than humans. Their sensitivity to the environment once looked like prophecy, but it is simply nature working quietly and efficiently. As we leave this chapter behind, we carry a softer understanding of how the myths began. Each one was shaped by awe, curiosity, and the silent elegance of a creature whose abilities felt larger than ordinary life. Now we drift gently toward the next chapter, where myths about behavior reveal how people interpreted the small mysteries of daily feline life. In this chapter, we explore myths shaped by everyday moments, where small actions were misunderstood and turned into stories about mysterious behavior. The first myth tells us that cats are aloof and do not love humans. This idea spread because cats express affection differently from dogs. Instead of wagging tails or eager greetings, cats show love through quiet presence, soft blinking, and gentle touches. Science reveals that cats form deep emotional bonds, recognizing voices, routines, and familiar scents. Their affection is calm and subtle, not cold or distant. The next myth claims that cats plot revenge when annoyed. This belief grew from the way cats sometimes act after a stressful moment. If a cat avoids a person or behaves differently, some imagine it is seeking payback. In reality, cats respond to emotional states and environment. They are sensitive to sudden changes and may retreat until they feel safe again. Their behavior reflects caution, not planning or spite. Another common myth says that cats meow only to annoy humans. This idea appears when a cat vocalizes at night or asks for attention. Modern research shows that adult cats evolve their meows specifically for communication with humans. The sounds are shaped by social learning, not irritation. A meow is simply a request, a greeting, or a signal for comfort. The next myth claims that cats scratch furniture out of spite. This belief formed because scratching looks deliberate and often targets familiar objects. In truth, scratching helps cats stretch muscles, mark territory with scent, and maintain healthy claws. The behavior is natural, not angry. Another myth says that cats do not communicate with people at all. Science shows the opposite. Cats use posture, tail language, facial expression, sound, and scent to send many messages. They listen for human tone and watch for familiar patterns. Communication is constant, though quiet and gentle. The final myth in this segment tells us that cats cannot be trained. This idea grew from comparing cats to dogs, who often follow commands quickly. Cats can learn many behaviors, but they respond best to calm guidance, predictable timing, and positive reward. Training a cat is like whispering rather than shouting. They learn slowly and thoughtfully, shaped by trust instead of duty. These myths remind us how easily misunderstandings grow from observing a creature whose language is subtle and soft.
We continue through the myths shaped by misunderstanding, where small gestures and natural reactions were once mistaken for mysterious motives. One common myth says that cats purr only when they are happy. The truth is broader and more beautiful. Cats purr when they feel safe, but they also purr when they seek comfort, when they are nervous, and sometimes even when they are in pain. The soft vibration helps them soothe themselves, like a gentle self-hug created through sound. Another myth tells us that cats knock objects off tables because they dislike their owners. This idea spread because the action feels deliberate. In reality, cats explore with their paws to understand texture, movement, and gravity. When an object reacts by shifting or falling, the cat learns something new about its environment. The behavior is educational, not emotional. The next myth claims that cats sit on a person's chest to suffocate them. This myth likely came from old stories told during night fears. Cats often sit on the chest because it is warm, because they like the rhythm of breathing, and because it brings them close to the face they recognize. It is a gesture of trust, not a threat. Another myth suggests that cats suddenly bite for no reason. Humans often miss the small signals that come before a bite, such as a twitching tail, flattened ears, or a shift in body tension. Cats give warnings long before they react. The bite is usually the final step in a chain of quiet messages. The next myth says that cats prefer to be alone at all times. This idea grew because cats sometimes seek solitude when they feel stressed or overstimulated. In truth, most cats enjoy company, gentle voices, and familiar scents. They form strong attachments and show affection by resting nearby, curling at a person's feet, or simply sharing the same quiet room. The final myth in this segment imagines that cats ignore humans on purpose. People believed this because cats do not always respond to calls or commands. Science shows that cats recognize voices and often choose whether to respond based on mood, comfort, and trust. This selective reaction is part of their natural independence, not rejection. Each of these myths grew from misreading calm expressions and subtle movements, turning gentle instincts into imagined mysteries. As we explore more, the quiet truth behind feline behavior becomes clearer, softer, and easier to understand. As we finish this chapter, we explore a final circle of myths shaped by the quiet, thoughtful nature of cats and by the ways humans tried to interpret their small, delicate behaviors. One myth says that cats do not feel loyalty toward the people they live with. This idea likely came from comparing cats to animals with louder, more expressive devotion. Yet science shows that cats track their humans through scent, sound, and memory, forming deep bonds that guide their routines. A cat may follow a person from room to room, rest beside them, or appear when they hear a familiar voice. These gentle actions reveal a steady kind of loyalty, soft and steady like a warm breath. Another myth suggests that cats do not grieve. This belief appeared because cats often hide their emotions and adjust their behavior quietly. But research and observation show that cats respond to loss with subtle signs, such as searching for a missing companion, eating less, or becoming unusually still. Their grief is real, though it unfolds in a quiet language that humans sometimes overlook. The next myth says that cats misbehave out of anger or mischief. This misunderstanding grew when cats scratched, vocalized, or eliminated outside their usual places during stressful times. Science explains that these behaviors signal discomfort, anxiety, or changes in routine. They are expressions of need, not rebellion. Another myth claims that cats attack suddenly, without warning, driven by unpredictable moods. Humans often miss the small signs cats give before they act, such as tail swishes, ear movements, or a shift in posture. Cats communicate their feelings with tiny signals, and when those signals are unseen, their reactions can feel abrupt. The misunderstanding comes not from the cat's behavior, but from the quiet subtlety of their language. The next myth tells us that cats dislike being held simply because they are unfriendly. In truth, cats vary widely in comfort levels based on personality, early experiences, and trust. Some cats feel safe being lifted, while others prefer feet on the ground where they can control their movement. This preference reflects instinct, not rudeness. The final myth in this chapter imagines that cats prefer solitude because they do not value companionship. Cats rest alone when they need calm or predictability, but they also seek soft company from people they trust. Many cats choose to curl near their favorite person, share a quiet corner, or settle into a familiar lap. Their social nature is gentle, patient, and steady, shaped by comfort rather than obligation. As we leave this chapter, we carry a clearer view of feline behavior, understanding how myth and misinterpretation once shaped stories about their quiet, thoughtful world. Now we drift into our next chapter, where myths about intelligence reveal how humans long misunderstood the complex minds of cats.
In this chapter, we explore myths that formed around the quiet intelligence of cats, where subtle thinking was often mistaken for simple instinct. The first myth tells us that cats are less intelligent than dogs. This belief grew from comparing two very different kinds of minds. Dogs evolved to cooperate closely with humans, while cats developed skills for independent survival. Because cats do not always follow commands, some assumed they lacked intelligence. Modern research shows that cats learn patterns, read human cues, and solve problems using quiet, patient strategies. Their intelligence is not loud or eager, but thoughtful and observant. The next myth claims that cats do not recognize their names. This idea spread because cats often choose not to respond. Studies show that cats clearly distinguish their names from other words, turning their ears or tilting their heads when they hear the familiar sound. Whether they answer depends on mood, trust, and comfort, not on understanding. Another myth says that cats do not form memories. In truth, cats stored detailed, long-term memories about routines, safe places, trusted humans, and past experiences. They remember voices, footsteps, feeding times, and emotional moments. Their memories help them navigate the world with caution and confidence. The next myth imagines that cats do not understand human emotions. This belief formed because cats express empathy in subtle, quiet ways. Science shows that cats detect changes in tone, posture, scent, and movement, responding differently to calm and distressed humans. Their understanding may not match human complexity, but they sense mood shifts with remarkable clarity. Another myth tells us that cats cannot solve problems. Researchers have observed cats using trial and error, observation, and imitation to open doors, reach hidden objects, or navigate obstacles. Their approach is slow and careful, often occurring when humans are not watching. This hidden style of problem-solving once made people underestimate their cognitive abilities. The final myth in this segment claims that cats do not learn through observation. But cats watch closely. They study human actions, other animals, and even small changes in their environment. Many cats learn to open cabinets, operate latches, or mimic behaviors simply by watching them repeatedly. These soft, patient skills reveal a mind shaped not by obedience, but by curiosity and quiet intelligence.
We continue drifting through myths about feline intelligence, exploring the quiet ways cats learn, think, and understand the world around them. One myth claims that cats cannot count. This misunderstanding appeared because cats do not show number skills in obvious ways. However, studies reveal that cats can distinguish between quantities, especially when food or rewards are involved. They notice differences in amounts and can choose the larger option with impressive accuracy. Their counting ability is not mathematical, but instinctive and useful. Another myth tells us that cats do not dream. Early observers saw cats sleeping deeply without movement and assumed their minds were blank. Modern science has shown that cats experience dream cycles similar to humans. During rapid eye movement sleep, their paws twitch gently, their whiskers shift, and tiny sounds escape as they replay memories or imagined scenes.
The dream world of a cat is quiet, subtle, and filled with small motions. The next myth says that cats do not experience REM sleep at all. This belief faded once sleep studies monitored feline brain activity. Cats cycle through light sleep, deeper stages, and REM phases many times throughout the day. Because they sleep in short bursts, early observers missed the pattern and assumed it did not exist. Their sleep is simply shaped by nature's rhythm rather than human schedules. Another myth claims that cats lack the ability to form social structures. This idea arose because early domesticated cats often lived solitary lives around farms or villages. But feral cat colonies show clear social rules. Cats build alliances, share resources, raise kittens cooperatively, and recognize friendly individuals. Their social behavior is gentle and selective, shaped by comfort rather than strict hierarchy. The final myth in this segment says that cats cannot understand object permanence, the idea that something continues to exist even when out of sight. Many people assumed this because cats chase toys that disappear behind furniture as if they vanished completely. Experiments show that cats do understand hidden objects, but they respond based on interest and motivation. A missing toy may not be worth pursuing, while the scent or sound of prey triggers immediate curiosity. Their choices reflect instinct, not ignorance. These gentle myths reveal how humans once underestimated the quiet intelligence of cats, mistaking subtle behavior for simplicity. Yet, behind every soft step and patient stare lies a thoughtful mind shaped by curiosity and experience. As we close this chapter, we explore a final group of myths shaped by the quiet and thoughtful nature of feline intelligence. One myth claims that cats cannot understand routines or schedules. This idea spread because cats appear relaxed and spontaneous, often sleeping through large parts of the day. In truth, cats track time through consistent patterns, such as daily light changes, feeding rituals, and human behavior. They learn when meals arrive, when favorite people return home, and when nighttime activities begin. Their sense of routine is subtle but steady. Another myth suggests that cats cannot interpret pointing gestures. Because cats often respond by looking at the hand instead of the direction, some assumed they lacked this skill. Yet cats do understand pointing when they trust the person giving the signal. They follow gestures more reliably in calm settings, showing that comprehension depends on emotional comfort, not cognitive limits. The next myth says cats cannot solve complex problems that require planning. Observation shows something different. Cats hide objects for later, choose strategic routes across furniture, and find creative ways to reach high places. They use quiet trial and error, returning to successful strategies and avoiding those that fail. Their planning is practical and patient, shaped by natural curiosity. Another myth insists that cats cannot imitate human behavior. In reality, many cats learn by watching. They study how doors open, how faucets move, and how humans interact with the environment. Cats that observe frequently often repeat actions later, using their paws or weight to mimic what they saw. This quiet form of imitation is subtle, but it reveals a flexible and adaptable mind. The next myth claims that cats only think about simple needs, such as food or rest. But cats explore new environments, investigate unfamiliar scents, and watch events with thoughtful attention. They display curiosity that goes beyond basic instinct. Cats solve puzzles, navigate social situations, and even choose favorite places based on preference rather than survival alone. The final myth in this chapter tells us that cats do not understand companionship. Science shows that cats recognize friends, maintain long-term social bonds, and even develop preferred partners in multi-cat homes. They greet companions with gentle head bumps, quiet purrs, and shared resting spaces. Their intelligence includes emotional awareness, subtle communication, and delicate social memory. As we leave this chapter behind, we step into a new group of myths about food and diet, where tradition and misunderstanding once shaped beliefs about what cats should eat. In this chapter, we explore myths about what cats eat, where long-held traditions and gentle misunderstandings shaped beliefs that still appear in everyday life. The first myth tells us that cats should drink milk to stay healthy. This idea began when people noticed kittens nursing and assumed adult cats needed the same nourishment. In truth, many adult cats are lactose intolerant. Milk can cause stomach discomfort, gas, and digestive upset. Cats need water for hydration and balanced nutrition from proper food, not dairy meant for other species. Another common myth says that cats can live on fish alone. This belief grew from old seaside towns where cats often scavenged near fishing boats and nets. While fish can be part of a diet, it cannot provide everything a cat needs. A diet made only of fish lacks important vitamins and minerals and can create deficiencies over time. Real feline nutrition is more complex, shaped by biology rather than tradition. The next myth claims that cats can safely eat dog food. This misunderstanding came from moments when pets shared bowls in busy households. Dog food contains lower levels of protein and lacks certain nutrients, like taurine and arachidonic acid, that cats require. Without these essential components, cats can develop serious health problems. The difference between species is small on the surface, but significant on the inside. Another myth tells us that cats naturally know what foods are toxic and will avoid them. People once believed this because cats often sniff new foods carefully before eating. But curiosity can override caution. Certain foods, such as onions, chocolate, and grapes, can be harmful even if they smell appealing. Cats rely on human guidance for safe nutrition, not instinct alone. The final myth in this segment explains that cats will never overeat because they know how much they need. This belief likely appeared when cats lived as hunters and ate only what they found. Modern house cats with constant access to food can easily overeat, especially when bored or stressed. Feeding schedules and measured portions help maintain a healthy balance. These myths remind us how much of feline nutrition is shaped by biology, quiet needs, and careful attention rather than old assumptions.
We continue our gentle journey through myths about feline eating habits, where everyday observations once grew into long-lasting misunderstandings. One myth suggests that cats need raw meat to stay healthy, and that cooked food is unnatural for them. This belief began when people associated cats with their wild ancestors. But raw meat can contain harmful bacteria and parasites. Domestic cats thrive on balanced diets formulated to meet their nutritional needs, whether the protein is cooked or prepared in a controlled way. The next myth claims that human food is safe for cats because we share meals with them at home. In truth, many common foods can upset a cat's digestive system or contain ingredients their bodies cannot process. Spices, salts, and oils used in cooking can cause discomfort. Some foods are dangerous, even in small amounts, making dedicated cat food the safer choice. Another myth says that cats can survive on treats alone, because treats appear small and harmless. This idea rose from the pleasure people feel when a cat reacts happily to a snack. Treats are meant to be tiny rewards, not meals. They lack essential nutrients, and too many can lead to weight gain or nutritional imbalance. Balanced meals remain the foundation of good health. The next myth tells us that cats do not need water because they originated from desert-dwelling species. Early observers noticed that cats drink less than dogs and assumed this meant water was unimportant. In truth, cats rely heavily on moisture in their food and still require fresh water daily. Hydration supports kidneys, digestion, and overall well-being. Stillness around water does not mean the need has vanished. The final myth in this segment claims that cats eat grass for mystical reasons, perhaps to cleanse their spirit or tap into hidden instincts. The truth is simpler and more biological. Cats may chew grass to aid digestion, induce vomiting when they feel unwell, or enjoy trace nutrients. The behavior is natural and harmless when the grass is safe and free from chemicals. These myths remind us how often human imagination fills in the gaps when simple biological needs are misunderstood. As we conclude this chapter on feline eating myths,
we gently explore a final group of misunderstandings shaped by tradition, limited knowledge, and the quiet habits of cats themselves. One myth suggests that cats can safely eat bones because their wild relatives chew them in nature. This belief grew from watching big cats hunt and feed. However, domestic cats face risks when chewing cooked bones, which can splinter and cause internal injury. Even raw bones can pose dangers if they are too hard or too small. Nature offers guidance, but household settings require caution. Another myth claims that cats should fast occasionally to cleanse their system. This idea came from older beliefs about digestive rest. The truth is that even short periods without food can be harmful for cats. Cats are prone to a condition called hepatic lipidosis, where the liver struggles to process stored fat during fasting. Regular meals support steady health far more than any fasting tradition. The next myth tells us that cats will instinctively eat less when they feel sick. While some cats do reduce appetite when unwell, others hide symptoms so effectively that changes in eating may go unnoticed. In nature, hiding weakness prevents predators from noticing vulnerability, but in the home, it can delay care. Careful observation matters more than trusting instinct. Another myth claims that cats prefer food variety and require constant change in flavor. This belief may arise from interpreting brief curiosity as preference. Cats often feel safest with familiar scents and textures. Sudden changes in diet can cause stress or digestive upset. While occasional rotation may be welcome, stability is usually more comforting than novelty. The next myth says that cats beg for food because they are always hungry. Cats beg for many reasons beyond hunger. They may seek attention, mirror human routines, or respond to smells that feel interesting. The behavior reflects social interaction, not constant appetite. The final myth of this chapter suggests that cats choose food based on taste. Cats actually rely heavily on scent and texture. Their taste buds are limited, with no ability to detect sweetness. They evaluate food through smell first, then touch, and finally flavor. This sensory sequence often leads humans to misinterpret what a cat likes or dislikes. As we leave this chapter behind, we carry a calmer understanding of feline nutrition, shaped not by myth or tradition, but by quiet biological needs. Now we drift gently toward our next chapter, where myths about feline communication reveal how people once misunderstood the small, delicate signals that shape a cat's emotional world.
In this chapter, we explore myths about how cats communicate, where quiet signals and subtle gestures were often misunderstood or overlooked. The first myth tells us that cats meow to communicate with other cats. This belief seems natural at first, yet adult cats rarely meow to each other. Meowing is a language shaped almost entirely for humans.
Cats discovered that soft vocal sounds capture human attention, so they evolved an entire vocabulary just for us. Among themselves, they rely more on posture, scent, and silent cues. The next myth claims that a cat's tail movements are random or meaningless. In truth, the tail is a powerful tool of communication. A raised tail signals confidence, a slow sweep shows curiosity, and a tight wrap around the body reveals cautious feelings. Each motion is a quiet sentence in the language of feline emotion. Another myth tells us that cats hiss only when they are angry. Hissing often expresses fear, stress, or uncertainty. It is a protective sound meant to create distance and give the cat space to feel safe. The behavior is defensive, not aggressive, and many cats hiss simply to avoid conflict. The next myth says that cats never talk back to humans. In reality, many cats vocalize in response to familiar voices. They chirp, trill, meow softly, or answer with gentle sounds that mimic conversation. This interactive communication strengthens bonds and reflects social awareness. Another myth claims that cats cannot understand tone of voice. Studies show that cats respond differently to calm tones, excited tones, and worried tones. They pick up emotional cues from pitch, rhythm, and intensity. A gentle voice often brings a cat closer, while sharp sounds make them cautious. These reactions reveal emotional sensitivity, not indifference. The final myth in this segment suggests that cats purr only to manipulate humans. This idea may come from how soothing the sound feels to people. But purring is a natural expression of comfort, connection, healing, and sometimes stress relief. It serves the cat far more than it influences the human. These early myths show how easily quiet communication can be misunderstood when the language is soft and delicate. We continue our gentle journey through feline communication, where small gestures and soft signals were once mistaken for mystery or misbehavior. One myth suggests that cats blink slowly because they are bored or uninterested. In truth, a slow blink is one of the warmest expressions a cat can offer. It signals trust, safety, and affection. When a cat closes its eyes slowly in someone's presence, it reveals a deep sense of comfort, choosing vulnerability over caution. The next myth claims that cats bite suddenly without warning. To human eyes, the bite may seem abrupt, but cats communicate long before they act. A twitching tail, lowered ears, or a shift in body tension appear minutes or seconds before the bite. These tiny signals can be easy to miss. The bite is not random, but the final expression of growing stress or overstimulation. Another myth tells us that cats do not express affection clearly. Because their gestures are subtle, humans sometimes overlook them. But cats show affection through head bumps, soft kneading, curled tails and gentle touches with a paw. They rest near people they trust and follow them quietly from room to room. The affection is real, though expressed through small, peaceful actions. The next myth says that cats do not recognize their owner's voice. Science shows the opposite. Cats distinguish familiar voices from strangers. They respond with ear movements, tail twitches, or calm approaches when they hear someone they know. This recognition is shaped by memory, scent association, and emotional connection. Another myth claims that cats meow only because they are demanding or annoyed. But meows can mean many things. They can be greetings, questions, invitations, or requests for reassurance. Cats varied their pitch and rhythm to express different emotions, creating a soft language shaped by shared history with humans. The final myth in this segment says that cats do not communicate distress. In reality, cats signal discomfort through quiet changes. A lowered head, a tucked tail, reduced grooming, or hiding in small spaces all reveal emotional strain. These small signs replace loud cries, making distress harder to notice, but not absent. These myths show how easily a soft language can be misunderstood when it speaks in gentle whispers instead of dramatic sounds. As we complete this chapter, we gently explore a final circle of myths shaped by the delicate and often silent ways cats share their feelings and intentions. One myth suggests that cats remain quiet because they have nothing to communicate. This misunderstanding came from comparing them to more vocal species. In truth, cats speak through dozens of subtle cues, using posture, whisker position, ear angles, and tail movements to express emotion. Silence does not mean emptiness. It simply means the language is soft. Another myth claims that a cat's ears flatten only when it is angry. Flattened ears also signal fear, uncertainty, or a desire to avoid confrontation. The gesture is protective, not aggressive. Cats lower their ears to shield them from potential harm or loud sounds. The meaning is shaped by context, not a single emotion. The next myth says that cats do not understand human facial expressions. Yet studies show that cats recognize smiles, frowns, and worried looks, responding differently to each. They combine visual cues with tone, scent, and movement to form a full picture of human emotion. Their emotional awareness is subtle but real. Another myth suggests that cats hide because they are unfriendly. In truth, hiding is a natural behavior that offers safety and calm. Cats retreat to quiet spaces when they feel overwhelmed or need a break from stimulation. The action reflects self-care, not rejection. The next myth tells us that cats do not comfort humans deliberately. Many cats sense stress or sadness and respond by resting nearby, purring softly, or offering gentle contact. They may not understand the full complexity of human emotions, but they recognize changes in energy and adjust their behavior to soothe and support. The final myth in this chapter claims that cats do not communicate across distances. Yet cats use scent trails, vocalizations, and memory of territory to navigate and stay connected. They return to familiar places, recognize past paths, and locate companions using subtle environmental cues. Their communication network spreads quietly through the world, carried on soft paws and careful senses. As we leave this chapter behind, we shift into a new one, where myths about appearance and breed reveal how human expectations shaped stories about fur, color, size, and the gentle beauty of feline diversity.
In this chapter, we explore myths shaped by appearance, where the color of a cat's fur, the length of its coat, or the shape of its body inspired stories that often drifted far from science. The first myth claims that purebred cats are always healthier than mixed-breed cats. This belief grew from the idea that careful breeding creates stronger animals. In truth, purebred cats can inherit certain genetic conditions more easily because their gene pools are smaller and more controlled. Mixed-breed cats often benefit from greater genetic diversity, which can reduce the chance of inherited issues. Health depends on care, environment, and responsible breeding practices, not on pedigree alone. Another myth says that hairless cats are unnatural mutations. This idea came from their unusual appearance and the soft, warm feel of their exposed skin. Hairless breeds, such as the Sphinx, developed through natural genetic variation. Selective breeding simply maintained the trait over time. These cats are fully natural animals with biological needs no different from other domestic felines. The next myth tells us that white cats are always deaf. This misunderstanding formed because a specific gene linked to white fur and blue eyes can increase the chance of hearing issues. But not all white cats carry this genetic combination. Many hear perfectly well. Color alone does not determine sensory ability. Another myth claims that black cats are dangerous or aggressive. This belief dates back to old superstitions, where dark colors were associated with fear or misfortune. In reality, a cat's behavior is shaped by temperament, environment, and past experiences, not by the color of its coat. Black cats are just as gentle, affectionate, and playful as any other feline. The final myth in this segment suggests that larger cats are less affectionate because of their size or strength. Size has no connection to emotional expression. Big cats can be calm, loving companions who enjoy closeness and gentle interactions. A cat's personality grows from experience and trust, not from the length of its body or the weight of its bones. These myths remind us how often appearance leads to assumptions that drift far away from the quiet truth of feline nature.
We continue exploring myths shaped by appearance.
where color, size, and physical traits once inspired assumptions about personality and behavior. One myth suggests that small cats are always more nervous than larger cats. This belief formed because some petite breeds appear delicate or move with quick, light steps. In truth, confidence depends on early experiences, environment, and socialization, not on size. Many small cats are bold, curious, and calm, while larger cats can be gentle and reserved. Another myth tells us that long-haired cats are naturally lazier than short-haired cats. This idea likely came from the slow, flowing movements of long fur, which can make a cat appear extra relaxed. Energy levels vary widely across individuals, and fur length has no influence on activity or playfulness. Long-haired cats can be energetic hunters and climbers, just as short-haired cats can be peaceful loungers. The next myth claims that cats with blue eyes have poor vision. This belief grew from misunderstandings about specific breeds and certain genetic conditions. Blue eyes do not reduce sight quality in most cats. Eye color comes from pigment levels and does not reflect the strength or clarity of vision. Another myth imagines that cats with odd-colored eyes possess mystical powers or special abilities. Heterochromia, the condition of having two different eye colors, is a natural and harmless variation caused by pigment distribution. It does not affect hearing, vision, or behavior in healthy cats. The appearance may feel magical, but the biology is simple and natural. The final myth in this segment suggests that mixed-breed cats are unpredictable in behavior or temperament. This assumption likely came from the wide variety of traits seen in mixed lineages. In reality, mixed-breed cats can be wonderfully stable companions. Their personalities form from experience, social interaction, and care, not from the mixture of their ancestry. Each cat carries its own gentle balance of curiosity, calmness, and affection, shaped more by love and environment than by heritage. These myths remind us how easily appearance can influence expectation, even when nature tells a softer, more nuanced story. As we gently complete this chapter, we explore a final group of myths shaped by how cats look, where visual traits once led to stories that drifted far from the truth. One myth suggests that striped cats, especially classic tabbies, are more mischievous than other cats. This idea appeared because many playful kittens happened to have striped coats, creating the illusion of a pattern. In reality, coat markings have no connection to temperament. Tabby patterns come from ancient wildcat genetics, not personality traits. Another myth claims that orange cats are less intelligent or more clumsy than other cats. This stereotype spread through anecdotes and humorous stories rather than science. Orange cats display a wide range of personalities,
from cautious and thoughtful to bold and observant. Their intelligence is shaped by experience, not by the pigment in their fur. The next myth tells us that calico and tortoiseshell cats are naturally more aggressive. This belief grew because many calicos are female, and female cats may behave more defensively when protecting territory or kittens. The pattern itself has no influence on behavior. It arises from genetics linked to the X chromosome, not from temperament or mood. Another myth says that cats with very fluffy tails are more dramatic or emotional. People once misinterpreted a puffed tail as a sign of personality rather than a response to surprise or fear. The fluffiness only adds volume, making the reaction appear more intense. The emotional state behind the gesture is the same as in any other cat, a moment of self-defense. The next myth suggests that cats with flat faces are always calm and quiet. Because brachycephalic breeds like Persians often move more slowly, humans assumed they were naturally relaxed. In truth, their quiet behavior sometimes comes from physical limitations in breathing, not from temperament. With proper care, many flat-faced cats are playful and affectionate. The final myth in this chapter imagines that a cat's appearance reveals how loving it will be. Humans once trusted visual cues because they offered simple explanations in a complex, emotional world. But love in cats grows from trust, familiarity, safety, and shared experience. A cat with any coat color, any eye shade, or any body shape can form deep, steady bonds. Affection belongs to the heart and history of the relationship, not to the features seen at first glance. As we step away from appearance-based myths, we drift into the next chapter, where stories about cats' senses reveal how humans once tried to explain the quiet precision with which cats navigate their world.
In this chapter, we drift into the world of feline senses, where quiet precision and delicate perception once inspired myths about supernatural abilities. The first myth claims that cats hear absolutely everything, as if no sound can escape their awareness. This belief began because cats often react to noises too faint for human ears. But even their remarkable hearing has limits. Cats detect a wide range of high frequencies and can rotate their ears to locate sounds with accuracy. Yet they cannot hear beyond the laws of biology. Their ability is impressive, not infinite. Another myth says that cats can smell emotions floating through the air like invisible clouds. People noticed how cats approach calmly during stress or avoid sudden tension and assumed they detected something mystical. In reality, cats notice scent changes linked to hormones, as well as shifts in posture, breathing, and movement. They sense the signs of emotion, but they do not read feelings as magical signals. The next myth claims that cats see only in shades of blue. This misunderstanding formed because early experiments on animal color vision were limited and often inconsistent. Modern research shows that cats see a muted palette of blues and greens, with reduced sensitivity to reds and oranges. Their world is softer and calmer in color, but not monochrome. Another myth suggests that cats can taste sweetness. People once shared desserts or sugary drinks with curious cats and assumed they enjoyed the flavor. Yet cats lack the taste receptors for sweetness. What draws them is scent or texture, not sugar. The experience feels pleasant to humans, but neutral to cats. The final myth in this segment tells us that cats detect earthquakes through magical awareness. The truth is more grounded in physics and biology. Cats sense subtle vibrations, shifts in air pressure, and changes in static energy long before humans notice anything unusual. Their bodies interpret these signs as cues to seek safety. Early observers mistook this sensitivity for prophecy, when it was simply a refined natural sense responding to the environment. We continue drifting through the myths shaped by feline senses, where natural precision once appeared magical to early observers. One myth suggests that cats feel the world only through their whiskers. This idea began because whiskers seem so expressive, moving gently as a cat explores its surroundings. In truth, whiskers are remarkable touch sensors, but they are only part of a larger sensory system. Cats use their paws, skin, nose, and ears to gather information. Their awareness is a full-body experience, not limited to a single feature. Another myth claims that cats can sense illness through supernatural intuition. This belief grew from moments when cats rested beside sick people or behaved unusually around changes in human scent. Science explains that illness can release chemical markers that cats notice through their sensitive noses. The response is biological, not mystical, though it may feel comforting and profound. The next myth says that cats always know the way home, as if guided by an inner compass. Stories of wandering cats returning after long absences helped this myth spread. While some cats navigate using scent trails, memory, and environmental cues, they do not hold perfect mental maps. Many cats become disoriented when far from familiar territory. Their navigation skills are impressive, yet limited. Another myth tells us that cats see human auras, glowing fields of emotion or energy that science cannot measure. This idea likely came from how cats study humans with deep, steady gazes, as though observing something unseen. The truth is that cats focus on micro movements, breathing rhythms, and tiny changes in tension. They do not see invisible colors of emotion, but they do notice the smallest cues in posture and mood. The final myth in this segment claims that cats smell fear in the same way sharks detect blood in water. Fear does cause subtle scent changes in humans, but cats do not react with predatory certainty. Instead, they interpret posture, motion, and atmosphere. A timid step or a sudden shift in breathing tells them far more than scent alone. These myths remind us how sensitive feline senses can feel supernatural when observed in quiet moments or dim light. As we complete this chapter on feline senses, we drift through one last circle of myths shaped by the quiet, careful way cats observe the world. One myth claims that cats can see through walls, as if their eyes pierce solid surfaces. This belief began when cats reacted to sounds or movements in other rooms. Cats hear higher frequencies than humans and sense vibrations that travel through floors and furniture. Their focused stares can appear mysterious, but they are simply listening with precision rather than looking through matter. Another myth tells us that cats perceive ultraviolet light the way some birds and insects do. People imagined that their glowing eyes could detect hidden colors. Modern studies show that while cats have excellent low-light vision, they do not see ultraviolet patterns. The shimmer in their gaze comes from the reflective layer behind the retina, not from access to invisible wavelengths. The next myth suggests that cats can see the future through instinct or spiritual sensitivity. Such beliefs arose when cats avoided certain places or hid before storms or loud events. Their choices come from environmental cues such as air pressure, low-frequency rumbling, and subtle vibrations that humans cannot notice. It is sensitivity, not prophecy, that guides their reactions. Another myth claims that cats sense time with supernatural accuracy. The truth is gentler and more grounded. Cats track daily patterns by observing human routines, light shifts, and the timing of meals and activities. Their internal rhythm is shaped by habit, not mystical clocks. Yet the consistency can feel uncanny, especially when a cat appears exactly at the moment someone returns home or prepares food. The next myth says that cats can detect danger from far away, as if they carry warning systems beyond science. Early observers saw cats flee before storms, earthquakes, or sudden changes, and imagined a secret sixth sense. But cats simply process information through ears, whiskers, skin, and scent far earlier than humans do. They read the environment like a quiet symphony of small signals. The final myth in this chapter claims that cats experience the world in slow motion, allowing them to react faster than humans. This idea likely came from observing cats leap, swat, or dodge with incredible speed. Cats do not slow time, they simply have fast reflexes shaped by evolution. Their nerves transmit signals efficiently. Their muscles contract quickly, and their eyes track motion with precision. The effect looks magical, but it is entirely physical and natural. As we leave this chapter, we drift toward myths about feline health, where old beliefs once shaped how people interpreted a cat's body, longevity, and emotional well-being. In this chapter, we explore myths about feline health and lifespan, where old traditions and gentle misunderstandings once shaped how people cared for their cats. The first myth claims that cats do not get sick easily because they are naturally resilient. This belief grew from the quiet way cats hide discomfort. In nature, showing weakness can invite danger, so cats suppress signs of illness. But domestic cats are vulnerable to infections, parasites, organ conditions, and many other health issues. Their calm behavior often masks problems rather than preventing them. Another myth suggests that indoor cats do not need vaccines because they remain inside the home. People once believed that physical separation guaranteed safety. In truth, viruses, bacteria, and parasites can enter through clothing, shoes, or open windows. Regular vaccination protects even indoor cats from diseases that spread quietly and unpredictably. The next myth says that cats can completely heal themselves through purring. The soothing sound of a purr may feel magical, and vibration frequencies can support bone and tissue recovery. But self-healing has limits. Cats still require medical care when injured or ill. Purring offers comfort, not complete recovery. Another myth claims that cats become overweight only from lack of exercise. This idea overlooks the role of diet, portion size, and metabolism. Some cats gain weight even with normal activity because their meals contain more calories than they need. Healthy weight depends on balance, not on movement alone. The final myth in this segment tells us that cats do not get lonely because they are independent. Independence does not mean isolation. Cats form emotional bonds with humans and other animals, reacting to absence with behavioral changes. They may meow more, hide longer, or seek extra contact when someone they trust leaves for long periods. Loneliness in cats is quiet, but it is real. We continue gently through the myths shaped by misunderstanding, where quiet feline behavior once made people believe cats were unaffected by stress or emotional strain. One myth suggests that cats do not experience stress at all. This belief appeared because cats often respond to tension by freezing, hiding, or becoming still instead of acting visibly anxious.
In truth, cats are highly sensitive to changes in environment, routine, and sound. New smells, unfamiliar visitors, or sudden noise can create stress that shows itself through subtle signs such as reduced grooming or hiding in small spaces. Another myth claims that cats do not need dental care because their teeth stay naturally clean. People once assumed that chewing food was enough to maintain oral health. But cats can develop tartar, gum disease, and tooth pain just like humans and other animals. Good dental care can prevent discomfort that often remains hidden behind a quiet expression. The next myth tells us that cats always land safely and therefore rarely injure themselves. This idea grew from observing cats survive falls with fewer injuries than some animals. But falls can cause broken bones, internal injuries, and shock. A cat's grace reduces risk, but it does not eliminate it. Another myth suggests that senior cats cannot learn new things because their minds become fixed. In reality, older cats can learn new routines, new tricks, and new ways of interacting when the environment is calm and supportive. Their pace may be slower, but learning continues throughout life. The next myth tells us that cats do not feel grief when a companion dies. Because their responses are quiet, early observers assumed they were unaffected. Yet cats may search for a missing companion, vocalize softly, or rest in familiar shared places. Their grief is gentle, but it is present, shaped by memory and emotional connection. The final myth in this segment claims that cats do not need mental stimulation. This idea appeared when people saw cats sleeping for long hours. While rest is important, cats also benefit from play, exploration, and gentle interaction. Toys, climbing spaces, and human engagement support emotional health and prevent boredom from settling quietly into their days.
As we gently conclude this chapter, we explore one final circle of myths shaped by the quiet, careful way cats move through life and aging. One myth says that cats do not feel chronic pain because they rarely cry out. This misunderstanding formed because cats instinctively hide discomfort, a behavior passed down from wild ancestors who needed to appear strong to stay safe. Silent endurance does not mean absence of pain. Stiff movements, reduced jumping, or subtle changes in grooming often reveal discomfort that a meow never would. Another myth claims that older cats sleep more because they are uninterested in life. In truth, senior cats rest longer to conserve energy, maintain comfort, and support aging muscles and joints. They still enjoy gentle play, quiet companionship, and familiar routines. Their slowing pace reflects nature, not apathy. The next myth suggests that cats who are sick will always avoid being touched. While some hide when unwell, others seek warmth and closeness for comfort.
Every cat expresses vulnerability differently. Their choices reflect personality, not a universal rule. Another myth tells us that cats do not suffer from depression. Because cats express sadness quietly, humans once believed their emotional world was simpler. But grief, boredom, loneliness, and environmental stress can lead to decreased activity, changes in appetite, or withdrawal from interaction. These signs whisper emotional strain rather than shout it. The other myth insists that cats cannot recover from emotional trauma. In reality, many cats heal slowly through patience, gentle structure, and consistent care. A fearful cat can grow confident again, and a cautious cat can rebuild trust with time. Their recovery is delicate, shaped by safety and routine. The final myth in this chapter claims that cats know when it is time to pass away and disappear to die alone. This idea came from stories of cats wandering off in old films and folktales. The truth is softer and more practical. Cats may hide when they feel weak because instinct tells them to seek quiet, protected spaces. It is not a ritual or a final choice, but a natural response to vulnerability. Understanding these myths helps us see cats more clearly, appreciating the fragile balance of their bodies and the gentle strength of their emotional world. As we leave this chapter, we drift toward the final group of myths, where stories about the relationship between cats and humans reveal how deeply these quiet companions shape our lives.
In this final chapter, we explore myths shaped by the long companionship between humans and cats, where quiet affection and subtle loyalty were often misunderstood or overlooked. The first myth claims that cats are not loyal to their humans. This belief grew from comparing cats to animals that show devotion loudly or energetically. Cats express loyalty through gentle presence, steady routines, and the way they choose to stay near people they trust. They remember voices, footsteps, and familiar scents for years. Their loyalty is soft, patience-shaped, and deeply rooted in comfort and safety. Another myth suggests that cats forget people easily. Because cats may act reserved after time apart, humans once assumed their memory was short. Science shows that cats store long-term memories linked to emotional connection. A cat may recognize a familiar human even after long separation, responding to remembered scent and sound. Their memory is selective, not shallow. The next myth claims that cats show affection only when hungry. This misunderstanding formed because cats often vocalize or approach when they expect food. But cats also seek gentle contact during rest, approach humans without any expectation, and share warmth or closeness purely for comfort. Affection and appetite simply overlap in daily routines, giving the illusion of a single motive. Another myth says that cats bond with only one person in a household. While some cats form especially strong attachments, many build relationships with several people.
They recognize each individual through scent, voice, and consistent behavior. Their bonds grow gradually, shaped by trust, patience, and calm interaction rather than a single chosen companion. The final myth in this segment tells us that cats prefer women to men, a belief influenced by old stories and cultural stereotypes. In reality, cats respond to tone, movement, scent, and energy rather than gender. A gentle voice, slow approach, and steady routine matter far more than whether the person is male or female. These myths remind us how human expectations can overshadow the simple, quiet truth of feline companionship.
We continue gently through the final myths about the relationship between humans and cats, where old assumptions once hid the true depth of feline companionship. One myth suggests that cats do not miss their owners when they are away. This misunderstanding came from the quiet way cats wait, sleeping or resting without dramatic reactions. But studies show that cats notice absence, track changes in routine, and often greet returning humans with renewed interest or soft vocalizations. They may show their feelings quietly, yet the bond remains steady. Another myth claims that cats do not understand the meaning of routine or schedule. People assumed this because cats appear relaxed and spontaneous, moving between naps and play at their own pace. In truth, cats build strong expectations based on patterns they observe. They know when meals arrive, when favorite people wake, and when the home becomes quiet for the night. They may wait by doors or windows because they anticipate the return of someone they trust. The next myth says that cats do not enjoy playing with humans. This belief formed when cats ignored certain toys or became overstimulated quickly. Yet cats have different play styles. Some prefer gentle wand toys, others enjoy slow chase patterns, and many play best during calm evening hours. They may pause often to observe or think, creating the illusion of disinterest when they are simply pacing their energy. Another myth insists that cats form shallow emotional bonds compared to other pets. This idea was shaped by the quiet, subtle nature of feline affection. But attachment studies show that cats seek secure relationships, reacting with visible relief when reunited with trusted humans. Their emotions are not loud, yet they are sincere and lasting. The final myth in this segment tells us that cats cannot recognize love from a human. In reality, cats respond to gentle tone, calm energy, familiar scent, and consistent care. They associate these signals with safety and affection. A cat may show recognition through slow blinks, soft purrs, or choosing to rest near the person who offers that sense of peace. Love becomes a shared rhythm, unfolding quietly over time. As we gently finish our final chapter, we explore the last myths about the bond between humans and cats, shaped by centuries of stories, expectations, and quiet misunderstandings. One myth claims that cats stay with humans only for food and convenience. This idea appeared when people compared cats to animals that show affection loudly or depend heavily on human guidance. But cats form strong attachments based on familiarity, scent, voice, and shared calm moments. They return not only for meals, but for safety, routine, and gentle company. Their affection is intentional, even if expressed softly. Another myth suggests that cats cannot sense human vulnerability. Yet cats often approach during quiet or emotional moments, settling near a person who needs comfort. They notice stillness, slower breathing, and subtle changes in tone. Their response may not be the same as human empathy, but it reflects awareness and connection. The next myth claims that cats judge humans harshly, forming opinions based on unpredictable standards. This belief arose from the thoughtful, observant way cats watch people. In truth, cats evaluate safety, voice, and energy rather than personality traits. They are cautious, not judgmental, choosing relationships that feel steady and calm. Another myth tells us that cats prefer isolation and do not value togetherness. This assumption grew from their love of quiet spaces and long naps. But many cats follow their humans from room to room, settling nearby even without interaction. They appreciate shared presence, finding peace in simple closeness. The next myth insists that cats cannot adjust to new family members or changing homes. While transitions can be stressful, cats adapt gradually when offered predictable routines, gentle introductions, and safe resting places. With time, their attachments expand, forming new bonds and new comforts. The final myth in our journey says that cats do not truly trust humans. This belief likely came from the quiet, careful way cats reveal their emotions. Trust in cats shows itself through slow blinks, exposed bellies, gentle head bumps, shared resting places, and soft purrs offered during peaceful moments. A trusting cat chooses closeness, not out of habit or hunger, but from a place of safety and calm. As this final myth settles softly behind us, we carry a clearer understanding of feline companionship, shaped not by superstition or assumption, but by gentle behavior, subtle affection, and quiet, steady bonds. Now we drift toward the closing epilogue, where our long, sleepy journey wraps itself in calm reflection and prepares your mind for rest. As our long, gentle journey comes to an end, we pause for a quiet moment to reflect on the 100 myths we softly untangled tonight. Across ancient stories, subtle behaviors, delicate senses, and the deep companionship between humans and cats, we found that truth is often calmer, simpler, and more beautiful than the myths that came before it. Cats are not magical creatures with endless powers, nor are they cold beings who drift through life without care. They are sensitive companions, shaped by instinct,
memory, affection, and a quiet intelligence that reveals itself in soft gestures and steady routines. You have traveled through history and science in a calm, slow rhythm, learning how each myth began and how each one dissolves gently when viewed through clear understanding. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them rest. Your breathing may feel slower and softer, guided by the peaceful pace of these bedtime stories. Cats move through the world with patience, observation, and stillness, and those same qualities now settle around you like a warm, quiet blanket. Think of the soft curl of a tail, the subtle glow of eyes in dim light, the gentle rise and fall of a sleeping cat's breath. These simple images steady the mind, smoothing out any remaining tension. Tonight, you explored a world where science and comfort weave together, turning curiosity into calm and knowledge into rest. Whether you are drifting towards sleep or already floating on its edge, allow these thoughts to linger like soft purrs fading into silence. Cats have shared human homes for thousands of years, offering presence rather than performance, serenity rather than noise. Their quiet companionship has shaped stories, myths, and memories, and now they have shaped this peaceful moment too. As your mind settles, imagine a cat finding a warm place beside you, curling gently, offering the soft reassurance of steady breath and quiet company. In this stillness, you may feel a gentle echo of the calm cats bring into the spaces they share with us. Thank you for joining this slow and soothing journey with Sleepy Science Nights. May your dreams be soft, your rest be deep, and your night filled with quiet comfort. Good night.